Glasgow is a city that knows how to party. Glasgow is also a city that has an undying love for music. The energy and passion that comes from a Scottish crowd is unrivalled. But this isn't just about going to a gig or going on a night out at the club. This is about Glasgow's rave scene. And it's not just any night out, it's a movement that has been evolving for decades. From subclub to the hydro, from acid house to hard techno, Glasgow has grown its reputation for being one of the best raving destinations in the world. In recent years, the scene has changed quite a bit, with closures of many clubs and venues, and the time where the entire world became silent when the COVID-19 pandemic hit in 2020.
You must stay at home.
But we didn't stop there. The movement continued, and now it's bigger than ever. A new generation of DJs, promoters, clubs and fans have entered the scene. Fresh trends and events are taking over, and the energy is only getting stronger. This is the rebirth of Glasgow's rave scene. Before 2020, nightlife in Glasgow was booming. Clubs and pubs in the city centre were packed every weekend, with the energy being unmatched. In early 2020, nightclubs were forced to close overnight due to the COVID-19 pandemic, which meant the city fell silent. Due to the restrictions, DJs, promoters and venues were left struggling. Some venues never reopened again, and some are still facing the ramifications to this day. During this difficult time, many people turned to live streaming their DJ sets from home, whereas some turned to illegal raves. When everything eventually reopened again, there was an undeniable shift in energy from the united Glasgow crowd, and the demand for raves was bigger than ever. There are so many subgenres of electronic dance music, such as techno, house and trance, but after COVID was when harder and faster sounds started to take over in techno. The origins of hard techno can be traced back to underground bunkers and warehouses in Berlin in the 90s. These industrial spaces became sanctuaries for ravers, and the music embraced its surroundings. Hard techno from the beginning has been a subgenre that lives on intensity, raw energy and expression. And to many, techno isn't just music, it's a lifestyle. Back in the 90s, rave culture built a community for people from all walks of life, who bonded over the freedom they found in those walls and continued to grow their own global movement in electronic music. When the pandemic hit, producers spent their time in lockdown experimenting with new sounds and breaking the limits of what's already been done before. When clubs eventually reopened, there was a noticeable shift in the pace, sounds and intensity. Ravers had a desire for more ferocity in their experiences after being in isolation for so long. There was an influx in younger fans too, after social media helped spread the trend. Over the years, techno has risen to global dominance, and electronic music has solidified its place to be a cultural force around the world. Mainstream festivals now proudly have DJs as their headliners, and there are even festivals dedicated to the genre. Creamfields is a prime example of this. The festival is held yearly in Daresbury, England, with a weekend attendance of 280,000. The evolution of harder and faster sounds is reflected in the Creamfields lineup, with DJs such as BLK, Azire and Phantasm all being scheduled to play in 2025. But it isn't just England that have the big EDM festival. Glasgow loves a party too.
My name's Jod. I've been DJing for 4 years now. I've been into dance music since I was young, since I was a wee boy. My dad used to always have dance music on, so I've always been into dance music from a young age. And I went to my first big kind of rave, Riverside Festival was when I was 17, and that just gave me the taste. And then during COVID I picked DJing up as a hobby and just went for there.
PRTY started up in 2021 and has quickly become one of the UK's biggest promoters, selling out events all over the country. You started up PRTY, so what was the vision behind that? And did you think there was something missing from Glasgow's rave scene?
We didn't really have a vision at first. It was more just we were just putting on these small parties for our pals and for ourselves, and then it just grew. We got a bit of traction and it just turned into something mental. It wasn't we never really had a vision. I didn't think anything was missing. It's just because we hadn't had any parties for so long during COVID and stuff. Once the club started opening up again, it just made sense to start doing the events.
Yeah. So how has it evolved since you started in 2021?
Yeah, so I'd say the sound's got a lot harder since, obviously it's a lot bigger. We're doing like our own festival, the hydro and stuff, so it's evolved massively that way, but the sounds have got a lot harder, I'd say, since we started. And it's just a lot bigger as a whole.
In 2023, PRTY hosted their first festival at Braehead Arena, and they're back for their third year in a row in 2025. What's the experience been like to organise your own festival at Braehead Arena?
I don't think people know how much work actually goes into planning your own festival and stuff, but it's very and like there's so much that can go wrong in a day, like there's so many acts that could cancel, just so many different things with production and all that can go wrong. But once everything's going smoothly on the day or when it's over, it's a good feeling, like knowing that you've gave people like this show and this festival and make them feel good. So it's a good reward.
That'll be good. There are so many rising Scottish DJs who are putting on shows that the Glasgow crowds have never seen anything quite like before. None of this would be possible without the incredible venues that Glasgow has to offer. And one of these clubs is Sub Club, a nightclub located on Jamaica Street. Established in 1987, it's the world's longest running underground dance club in the world. For over 30 years, Sub Club have been hosting an evening titled Subculture every Saturday night. Sub Club being around for so long and having a club night that's been running for as long as it has just shows how prominent dance music is in Glasgow's culture. Then there's SWG3, which has become one of Scotland's biggest spaces for raves. Located in the Finnieston area at 100 Eastvale Place, SWG3 is a warehouse-style venue which has become a cultural hub for music, art and design. They frequently host gigs, club nights, bingo nights and of course raves. The venue has multiple spaces and rooms of different sizes, and during the summer they host outdoor shows in the Galvanisers Yard, which can hold around 4,000 people. SWG3 is 100% one of the best spaces in Glasgow for a rave and is certainly a fan favourite. Well, you've played at massive venues like the Hydro, Braehead Arena, but also like in a lot of smaller clubs. So what do you prefer? Do you prefer playing in like the bigger places or smaller intimate spaces?
I prefer the intimate spaces, 100%. It's just, you can read the crowd more, you can connect with them more. The bigger shows are good, it's crazy to play in these stages, but it's more like a show. Like sometimes the crowd's too far away, you can't read them, you don't know how they're feeling. So I prefer playing in like an intimate, smaller club.
Yeah. We've spoken about well-established venues in Glasgow, but DIY venues are just as important. DIY stands for do it yourself, but in the rave scene, it's more than just throwing a party. DIY is a grassroots approach where promoters and DJs build their own spaces and lineups and run independent nights in smaller venues. It makes the experience feel more real as it's by the people and made for the people. DIY events and spaces is what keeps the scene alive, especially with club closures and the dwindling nightlife. Spaces such as Berkeley Suite, Club 69 and Nico's are all considered DIY venues, and they all hold events that showcase up-and-coming DJs frequently.
We want you to party harder like never before.
The more recent post-COVID rise in popularity of raves has been helped massively by its social media presence. Platforms such as Instagram and TikTok have become tools for promoting DJs and events, and it helps them reach a wider audience. Events are being promoted through TikToks or Instagram Reels, whether it's clips from previous events or a stylistic advertisement. When it's done well, shows sell out in minutes. Do you think social media has changed like the way people experience raves? Do you think it's like helped the scene progress, or do you think it's taken away some of like the original spirit?
I think it definitely does have a good impact on the DJ scene, because it gets people's faces out there. When people are putting TikToks up Instagram, it can really build people's careers and build like the brands and stuff, so I do think it's a good thing.
I put out a survey on Instagram just to get some general thoughts on whether people think social media has changed how people experience raves. From what I gathered, 64% said they do think it's changed the way people experience raves. Some responses I got brought up the points that it has helped launch the careers of DJs, lets more people be aware of what events are on, and it makes it look like an exciting experience and encourages more people to go. However, despite the positivity that social media can bring to the scene, it comes with its downsides as well. Going back to the survey I put out, many people responded saying that people only go to raves for social media clout, people are less there for the music and more for a video. A lot of responses said that the presence of phones takes away the authentic experience. What do you think about people like with their phones out and like filming at raves and stuff?
I can see how they do it. Personally, I prefer them just living in the moment and enjoying the set, but I can see how the amount of production that goes into these shows, like it's crazy. So people try and video it, they want to put it on their Instagram and their Snapchats, but they also just want to have the moment on their phone so they can like look back on and watch where they've been to.
Yeah,
and so it is a bad it's not a bad thing, but I do prefer people when they're not videoing that.
Yeah, I feel like social media always has like its upsides, its downsides, like positives, negatives, but I seen you had done like an event, was it at New World, and you did like the no phone policy.
No phone policy.
Do you think you would do more of that?
Yeah, we definitely will. Not a lot of people stuck to it, mind you. It's like when there's big songs that you're playing, they want to video it, so they did it worked for a bit, but there was some songs people still had their phones out. But we do try and push it. We're going to do a lot more of the events, because it's better when people are dancing and not just on their phones. It's more of a distraction when they go on their phones. Yeah, and I imagine it was like a much better atmosphere. It was. It's annoying sometimes when you're DJing and you just see everyone with their phones in their face.
The future of Glasgow's nightlife may feel uncertain at times, with the decreased amount of Gen Z going out and the struggling bars and clubs. But with the shift in trends, rise in social media presence, and the incredible DJs that come to Glasgow, the rave scene is looking bright for the future. So, as you said, like harder and faster sounds have started to kind of take over. Why do you think like crowds are so drawn to that style?
I think it's just a trend. I think every 5 years there seems to be a new trend in music. So I think it's just what's popular. It's just what's in there now. That's what people are attracted to. So that's what they go to. Yeah. Well, since you said every 5 years is a new trend, what do you think the next trend will be? The next one, I think it'll be house music. House music seems to be coming in. I think that's going to take off in the next year or so.
I seen something. Sorry, I'm going off track now.
That's all good.
With like vodka. It was like the house party thing. So what's that all about?
So we've started house party because we think it's the next trend. So we've got an event in SWG Free soon for a big act called Prosper, and then we're doing stuff in vodka as well, just starting a house party, because there's a lot of local house DJs that are in, so it makes sense for us to do it as well. What do you think the future of Glasgow's rave scene looks like? It's always going to be a massive part of Glasgow. It always has been and always will be, but I think the house music's really going to take off in Glasgow soon. I think this hard sound's just a trend now, and it'll maybe die off soon, and it'll be house that comes out on top, I think. The community spirit, DIY ethos and sonic experimentation is well and truly alive, and this will only help evolve the Glasgow nightlife and rave scene. As for the future, there will be new evolving sounds, new spaces built, and a new generation on the dance floor. This city will always find a way for the beat to keep going.